Okay. We are.
Does my hair look okay?
Fabulous, actually.
Oh, thank
you.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
I'm in.
Yes. And this should be connecting through that. So all the audio from the live stream should be coming through this setup here.
All right.
Sweet.
And on that note, we cue the music.
And the music will be put in post because I don't have it on this yet. And we're recording now.
All right.
Hello, gentlemen.
How do you do?
How do you do?
This is episode. Well, is this episode 2 or episode 1?
Well, we said 0 last time.
Yeah.
I guess it's technically episode 1.
So this is our lunch. I should have,
Cleaned up a little.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know, maybe a little shave.
Well,
I don't see him
I
shaving
did a little
anytime
landscaping this morning. So
That's nice.
I'm feeling pretty good.
For this purpose or just coincidentally?
About once a year. Get in there really good.
Hey, Charles, is that on-air light on?
Yes,
the
it
box?
is.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yeah. So nobody interrupts us.
Well, that's why I bought that thing initially, so I could put it on my bedroom door so the roommates are like, oh, he's recording. I should be quiet.
Yeah. Don't bug him. Todd's busy.
Business.
Well, there's nothing worse than being recording and all of a sudden you hear some kids screaming right outside your door.
Yeah. It's just
Todd is podcasting. Podcast, Todd. Podcast.
Feels like Dick and Jane.
That's where I was going for.
Yeah.
He knows it. Well, hey, everybody. Episode 1 of the Our Town podcast
extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we have a website now, don't we, Charles?
We do. It's our-townpodcast.com. And we'll put that in the liner notes. You guys can find it.
We'll link it in the show notes for sure.
Yeah. So check that out. It's pretty cool. We'll put the shows up there, videos and pictures and all kinds
We'll have links to if you're
crazy stuff.
Want to just do the audio portion of the podcast too. You can do that too.
Yeah.
But, so what do we have on? I haven't even looked at the itinerary, the
fancy form,
the show notes.
Well, you know what? Before we do that, Todd, I do realize that we did receive a comment that somebody said because they knew Todd, they were like, "Who are these other two jokers?
Who are these guys?"
Yeah, I know. They didn't really say that. They just said, "Who are these other guys?" So I don't know if we should go around.
Yeah, someone did find out
one more. Why are these guys?
That's a whole existential question that we can't answer.
Dude, that. I caught that reference. Guardians of the Galaxy, if you've not seen those movies, you need to. So yeah, I think last week I kind of did a little bit of an intro for myself, and then we just went straight in, and you guys didn't do your intros. So yeah, we should definitely be like, I am Todd. I'm known as Cousin Todd on the Not About You podcast, and we have Charles here, who's got Duns Cap Games.
Yes, he does.
Yes, it is. And then of course we have Mayor Mike. So beyond those monikers, what do we know about you guys?
What's to know?
What is needed to know?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Well, geez, we are filming today from downtown Renton, which is my hometown. So,
and people, if there's anybody watching live, we are on the stage here at the Civic Theatre.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Which is an extra step that we've done for you, people.
Yeah.
We've done this for you.
Yeah. And we may not have this opportunity every week, but we're going to do it as much as we can.
Yeah, and shout out to the theater and the board.
Yes. Thank you guys for letting us use the theater.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've been on a stage for a podcast, so this is kind of cool.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. Me too.
And someday, live studio audience.
That'd be amazing. I would absolutely would love to be able to do a podcast live in front of an audience. That way we can get like interactions from the audience.
And we don't need to use the laugh track.
Yeah, I have it too. Here's what
Never say never. Yeah, I mean, just yeah.
Well, I've known Mike for, I think we decided about 32 years, something like that. So
since the earth was cooling.
Since
the
creatures crawled out of the primordial soup, as they say.
Since before Jimmy was buried up on the hill.
Yeah. Well, no.
No, Jimmy was there, but now he's got a much nicer.
Back when it was just in marker and it was unmarked.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mike and I both Renton guys. I grew up in Seattle, but moved to Renton. I've been here for damn near that 30 years that I've known you.
Sure.
So,
well, I in my early years, my toddler years, I was in this area in Renton. I was up on Sunset, lived in a house right off of Sunset. In fact, every time I drove past it, I was like, I remember that house. That was the house I saw the Rankin Bass Hobbit movie with all the giant spiders and shit.
No, where there's a way. Oh yeah.
Yeah, scared to ever living. That put the fear of arachnophobia in me for sure. But yeah. So,
and it really, off topic, but they're great movies.
Yeah. It's not that off topic. We're very nerdy amongst us three, but
Yeah, and dare say maybe better on the animated than the Desolation of Smog, the second trilogy.
Dude, I tried very hard several times to watch those movies, and every time I fell asleep within the first 10 minutes. Every time.
I know. I like that they kept the songs, right?
Yeah.
I think it's what put me to sleep was that droning thing that the trolls were doing. I'm like,
they never go near trolls then because it worked, right?
Yeah,
and they eat people. They're very bad.
And I would be juicy for them. Clearly, I mean.
Yeah, no, they're not afraid of it.
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up in Seattle, moved to Renton. Started a game company a couple of years ago called Dunscap Games.
That's actually how I met you, I think.
Yeah, you interviewed me at one of the cons.
It's now called King Con, but it was called Renton. It was called Renton City Comic Con back then. It started out as a kind of a comic book convention, but it's more of a cosplay convention these days. So, which is fine. You see some really great convention costumes at that con. So,
So check me out at dunscapgames.com.
Okay. Purchase.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to buy it.
Buy his games, man. I haven't actually. We need to play that next time we go around your house, because I remember you giving me kind of the rundown of how the game was played, and it sounded like a lot of fun. So.
And it makes a great gift.
If nothing else, you should follow him on Instagram for his great memes.
Oh.
And if you make them yourself, or if you find them,
Liberate.
Internet found. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And
is that enough introduction, Mike? You got more to?
No.
Do you have?
Mike's a great guy.
He doesn't really have You don't really have an online presence, do you?
I sure try not to.
So people can't follow you, is what you're saying.
This
will be like his official Facebook and Instagram is the podcast page.
That's fine by me. Oh yeah, but but I also don't want to be loafing off of YouTube's hard works. Right, producing this is not easy. I don't want to just be a
mouthpiece.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Instead of vocal cords,
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We're getting there. So, you guys want to talk some headlines?
Yeah, let's do this. What headlines have you guys seen that were standing out?
The biggest thing I think that's been in the news for me for about a week now is these Trump NFT non-fungible tokens that Trump has so eloquently added to
the funny thing is
bonkers.
The funny thing is he's saying that they're digital trading cards. He doesn't know what an NFT is.
Yeah.
I
don't think most people know what an NFTs are. To be honest.
I mean, are they really an NFT if there's a bunch of them? Like if you have, there's like a magic card, right? It's like
they sold 45,000 of those things in.
They sold, I think, 44,000.
Or was it
4 creators held back 1,000?
Okay,
but I mean,
that's
there's like 10.
Not all of them are $100. Were more.
Oh,
really?
That's worse. Are you kidding me?
Because I saw 6 of them, and if there's 6 different NFTs and they're sold for $100 a piece, and they sold 44,000, you have to figure 44,000 divided by 6 or whatever.
Well, here's the other thing too: is I read
how many there is.
The company. So if you bought this NFT, spent the $99, you got your NFT. It's in a cyberbank somewhere, and you wanted to resell it to somebody, the company and/or Trump gets like 10% of that resale. So as soon as you try to move it,
Of course.
So every time it just,
yeah. It sounds like Trump got sucked into one of those one of those things on Twitter called that they have like the voice chat they now have.
Yeah.
Every time I've hopped onto Twitter, it has somebody doing an NFT thingamajigger on one of those things. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. And then I just keep scrolling. I got friends who got into them when they first became a thing. Shout out to of course now my brain goes, and I don't remember that person's name. But lucky for them, I guess. Either way,
it almost became infamous.
Yes.
Well, the funny thing about this whole story is that he, for a couple of weeks before the announcement, said, I'm going to make a big announcement. So everybody thought, oh, okay, he's going to do something with his presidential campaign, right? He's going to announce early a VP candidate, or some people thought he was going to announce that he was running for Speaker of the House. Some people thought that he was going to lay out his financial plans for his, something, right? Something big. And then this is what they got. And so everybody and their brother, Trump lovers or not, were like, oh my God.
All the Trumplicans are like, these are so neat. What is this?
No, but it just destroys any kind of... to a lot of people, I think that's going to be one more step too far.
Yeah.
Right? But we'll see. He's whittling down, right, his support base.
I would think so. Yeah.
Right? Bit by bit by bit. Yeah. I think in a related subject matter, the January 6th subcommittee just finalized their deal and showed where he made $250 million just begging people for money in the last couple of years. $250 million to pay his legal fees.
And they're getting ready to release all those tax returns that he has refused to release for the last few years.
It's
just show no taxes paid.
No, but I'm not. I mean, that's the game. Right, he's not alone in it. There's a couple of 100,000 people in the United States alone that do that. Remember the Panama Papers and shit?
Right.
I mean,
and see where
we need to change the game. And I'm not going to blame him for taking advantage of that. I'll blame him for a bunch of other shit. But that's the least of it.
So a couple other things about that NFT is that the images where they plastered his head on these images were all plagiarized.
Of course they were.
So he doesn't have a very creative team.
So they just went on to Google image search and search for superhero, and they found an image of a superhero, generic superhero, stained like Superman with his hands on his hips. And
they took images from small fishing and tackle stores, from T-shirt shops. I mean, mom and pop shops, right? That they just came in and stole these images from, and then put it on his face on them, right? So and sold them as their own, which is completely expected for something that he would be involved in. But did you guys see on social media there's an app called Lensa, where
I actually did one of those.
Take your photos and put them in, and they'll give you like a whole collage of different stuff.
Well, is that what they did? They used Lensa?
But something to that same idea,
like
right? Yeah.
But with the Lensa, it's come out that Lensa, the app, did the same thing. The AI went out,
swiped a bunch of shit,
swiped a bunch of stuff. And, a lot of the Lensa photos, you can actually see the signature.
Yeah, I saw somebody had talked about that. I haven't seen that, but that's bonkers. Artists don't have lawyers.
The best one though was the superhero one, or the other one that I thought was hilarious. And the Daily Show pointed this out. That one of the images of it was a guy in a suit and he's kind of pointing like this, and it's Joe Biden's body.
Oh my God!
They took a photo of Joe Biden and put Trump's head on it.
Oh my God!
The other funny thing is that they on all those images that have a presidential number, they did 45, which was his presidential number.
Yeah,
we're on 46 right now, and if he's running for president and he wins, he would be the 47th president, not 45. So.
But his followers think he's still in
that guy's done. But it's a great way for him to make money, right? To run for office, and that's another part of a game that we need to change, right? Is to get that kind of it shouldn't be an income stream to run for office.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's the kind of shit we should be doing with the podcast. We should do NFTs and sell to the 4 people that are watching.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
We
I
want
have 4 people at $250 million apiece. That's $1 billion, guys.
We'll take existing images of Charles Gabe and sell them as NFTs to the podcast.
That's a great idea.
We need cash.
We still want to see who wants their face as the dunce cap kid.
Ooh.
There you go.
Right, sell the rights.
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
We should totally like
I'll
all
be the
3 of
dunce
us.
cap guy. It's my Alfred E. Newman moment.
We should all post to become the dunce cap kid. Yeah.
All right. Well, Trump is Trump. And
It's
he does
bonkers.
Trumpy stuff.
It's bonkers.
And the Trumplicans will do anything and everything he wants them to.
But what is it in humanity that allows for hero worship?
Yeah.
What is that? We loved Pharaoh, even though he just pooped on us.
You know what?
We loved Jim Jones, even though he was a murdering ding dong.
I look at it like this. It's like
I know
any
people that were in Jonestown, or knew people that were in Jonestown.
And what is it in our capacity
It's a
that
fandom
does
thing.
that?
It's a fandom thing. Like you guys know, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I love Star Wars. So I wear things that have Star Wars on them. So it's not any different than that, or people that wear the number 12 on their jerseys. Or, they have the Sherman jerseys or whoever else is really popular.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I mean,
I don't know if that travels. I blame it on our.
I think it's
the
just
humans are
it's hero
dunces.
worship. It's a fandom hero worship thing. It's
Yeah.
totally that.
But why is that in our DNA? Right? Why is that there? I don't know. Because it seems more.
Because the hero has something that we as the people of this planet don't have. Usually it's money or fame or something.
Is it an alpha thing? Like,
I don't know.
He's no fucking alpha.
No, I don't know. But for the majority of humanity, we were women-led, right? For the vast majority of it, like the hunting portion of our tribe was not the leadership of the tribe.
That's true,
right? They were directed by the leadership of the tribe. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's a good subject. Yeah. All right. Well, after the Trump stuff, I mean, we could go on and on, days and days. There's a lot of stuff happening with the January 6th Commission.
Which I think is great. They did a great job.
I
mean, they really did. They interviewed 1,000 people. You know what I mean? It's really, they did, as far as, because I sat around and watched the Iran-Contra hearings and all this, and this is a way better planned out and run commission. It really is.
I remember that with Ollie North and his big
just
jar
lying.
of coins in the closet.
I don't remember the name Ollie North. No, I didn't pay
well, he got turned into a hero too. You know what I mean? It's like they're not heroes. It's awful. It's
the same people that think he's a hero also think that Reagan was the greatest president ever.
Yeah.
So,
and if we're not going to be a civilization where we are equal under the law, or at least strive, of course, striving constantly, progressing constantly to be a nation under the law, right? Then fuck, right? Then we have to do that. We got it. It's like, you can't, think it's great that Trump gets away with shit, or Reagan gets away with shit, or whomever, whatever figure is getting away with shit. It's not okay. It's not.
Ask this question real quick. Just on Reagan, we all know what problems Reagan had, but was he the right president at the right time, or the right president for the right time?
Just to help bring down the wall or that kind of thing. I think it was inevitable anyway.
Yeah.
But his reputation is what did that, right? It's because in the media at the time, Jimmy Carter was portrayed as a wimp and all this kind of stuff. Right. So that and so Reagan was seen as a guy who was going to launch nukes day one if we didn't get what we wanted. Yeah. So whether or not he would have, and how much he really, and with the Iran-Contra thing, he might have really been out of the loop.
Could be.
That whole thing was trying to keep that.
I can't recall.
Trying to give him plausible deniability, right?
Some dementia going on for sure.
I think there was, but I also think that they kind of kept him out of the loop just because he wasn't part of that group necessarily. Yeah. He was a governor previously, but he wasn't some long-standing, insider.
He was an actor, but he was at least he knew politics by the time he became president.
Because he was, but I don't like his policies as a governor in California, but he was a governor, which is an executive position, right? So, there are dozens.
Just a side question that always sort of, as much as I dislike Reagan and a lot of the stuff that happened during his term, you just think, could he have been the right guy for that time?
Sure.
Like you said, you're probably right.
The Soviets were crumbling anyway. They had no money. They were done. Their people really were hungry, and it was just the end for them. It was just the end. So.
He was out of office by the time I was old enough to vote. So I think his final year of being president was like probably a year, maybe two before I was able to vote. Even back then, I'm still not really big on politics, but back then I had no interest in politics whatsoever. So I didn't really vote until
Bill Clinton versus George H.W. versus Ross Perot.
Can I finish?
That was my first one.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
No.
No, that was like that was the Perot thing.
Yeah. And Admiral
smacked the mic. That was smart of me.
Old Dan Quayle.
Yeah.
That was the time I started watching SNL during that.
Oh, it was Dana Carvey, right?
Dana Carvey did, right? That was what I was doing. I was doing my impression of Dana Carvey's impression of Ross Perot. Can I finish? Can I finish?
I remember Dana Carvey was the church lady.
Oh my God, he's so
and
funny.
Pump You Up.
Oh yes, Uncle France.
Oh my God, yeah, that was
him and Nealon. Yeah,
it was a simpler time. Yeah, Kevin Nealon.
Yeah. I actually saw him live in concert one time.
Kevin?
No, Carvey.
Carvey.
Oh, sure.
And it was absolutely the hell. It was at the Moore Theater in Seattle.
Wow.
And he was starting to do his chopping broccoli bit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his stand-up or not, but you have to look it up. Dana Carvey chopping broccoli. It's one of the funniest things ever. Oh, he started doing that, and someone was yelling from the mezzanine, and he stopped. He goes, "Excuse me, what is it you're trying to say to me? Because I can't hear a fucking word you're saying. Do I come to Jack in the Box and interrupt you while you're working in the drive-thru? No, I don't. So sit down and shut up. Let me finish."
Fair enough. Yeah, he's working.
He had no time for hecklers whatsoever. It was great.
What happened to him? Did he get sick?
He had cancer for a little while. He actually has a podcast with Spade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I doubt I subscribed to it, but I never actually listened to it. But it was one of those things. When I'm running out of things to listen to, I'll probably dip into that. It looks cool because it's basically all the episodes have been like interviews with former coworkers from SNL and movies that he's been on. So.
That's funny as that. Yeah. I don't know. David Spade has made me laugh. They both made me laugh, but David Spade, the Hollywood Minute, was a killer. I don't know if he wrote that. He might have.
I think that was his bit. Yeah.
Oh man, it's a killer.
He probably had some people helping him with some of the jokes, but for the most part, I think it was his. Oh yeah.
Well, right now, you guys have any other like headlines that jumped out? I think.
I don't have my phone because it's over there recording us, but
yeah, no, I was gonna just bring up the DC Universe.
Oh
reboot,
yes.
Because that's $1 billion kind of franchise that are now like, never mind.
This is fascinating.
So they just, was it a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago? They canceled.
It's a big deal.
We talked about it last week. They canceled Wonder Woman 3. They're not going forward with that because of some issues with the director or whatever. But they also said that they're not doing a sequel to Black Adam, which apparently didn't do well in theaters. I don't know how, because it was a great movie.
Oh, wow, I don't know. It didn't do well,
right? I mean, it made its money back, but maybe not.
I don't think it did as well as they were hoping because it's not getting a sequel, and it's not. They're basically at this point the only ones left that are coming out in theaters is Aquaman and the next Shazam movie. And those are the only ones left, I think.
Really like that Shazam. I can't tell you anything about it. You tried to get me to tell you the plot points, but I remember enjoying it.
It was.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. Yeah,
I actually probably could give you a couple things, but for the most part, it's not that memorable, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zachary Levi did an amazing job.
That's great. It's charming.
Yeah, but it was funny because when that movie came out, it came out right around the same time as Captain Marvel on the Marvel side. I don't know. You guys probably remember this, but Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Well, she's Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Well, the thing is
the emphasis is at the other side.
And the thing is apparently
it's more French that way.
Both DC and Marvel both had a claim to that character, to the name of the character, anyhow, because they both claimed to have acquired that comic book company they originally created.
It was like Foster Comics or some shit. or Fawcett or something.
Something like that. It was like early 30s.
No, he's almost as old as Superman.
It came out within 6 months to a year after Superman, I think, or right before.
Like 38 years old, my dad.
Late 30s. But no, I think it was like 10 years ago that DC lost the rights to the name Captain Marvel, so that's why they started calling him Shazam.
Okay. How many times did they rebooted? Is that the right word? Reboot? The DC universe.
Yeah, but in their defense. That's what they do in the comic books. Yeah. They have a crisis on infinite crises.
Yeah.
Like every year, where it's just like, well, we need to get rid of these, this stable.
Yeah.
And like Jeff Johns will just like have a bad trade or something.
On the flip side, Marvel hasn't rebooted too much, but are they at the point where they just got too friggin' much going on?
I don't know. I think they're going to bring the younger generation in.
I think they're going to in the next. The next rollout of the next phase. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. The next phase of the MCU, they're going to be introducing the younger generation of Marvel heroes.
Okay.
They've already started introducing some of them in the most recent movies and TV shows, like Miss Marvel was one of them, which was great. Did you like Miss Marvel?
I did. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
I think I watched the first episode. I haven't followed up on it, but I did watch. What's the other show they had?
She-Hulk. She-Hulk was
great.
No,
it was just a delight.
I enjoyed the heck out of that. That was just fun. I love the fourth wall breaking.
Oh yeah, that was just great.
All the toxic fanboys were freaking out because she was so disrespectful towards Bruce because of she's like, that's my daily thing. I manage my anger. That's just a normal thing for a woman to be doing. Yeah. It's like, how can you do that, disrespect the Hulk like that? I was like, fucking guys, you need to just relax. You need to go back and actually read the source material before you step up to your fucking keyboard.
Yeah, just relax. It's okay.
They're movies, guys, and TV shows. These are not documentaries.
Yeah. On a fact-finding mission. The real She-Hulk. There's no such thing, bro. It does not exist. It's a fictional, fun thing to begin with. It's She-Hulk. How serious is that?
Right.
She's green.
The other thing is like, and I always quote this from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, is fictional characters.
Yeah.
Fictional characters.
Yeah.
I'm not getting through to you at all. Yeah. So
it's painful.
Well, back to DC then. The Batman thing's confusing me because I also heard that Ben Affleck was still slated to play Batman in a few movies or a couple movies.
Yeah, the Pattinson one's not canon. It's not canon.
The Pattinson one is going forward. They're doing more of those.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I enjoyed that too.
I did. It was a long movie. I think they tried to pack too much into it.
Yeah, I could have done without Lenny Kravitz' daughter. I think it was just kind of superfluous or whatever. But
Honestly,
it's not my fucking movie, right? I didn't make that. I enjoyed it. I sat through the whole thing. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah. I think I need to see it again because I did fall asleep. And I try to get back into it.
I think the thing about that movie that I just like, really, come on, why do we need this? There was too many bad guys, number one. I mean,
they introduced everybody.
They basically,
kind of.
Catwoman wasn't a terrible character. I didn't dislike it. I think it was just an uninteresting love story. I didn't care about her character. I mean, her character wasn't terrible, but I just didn't care. And then the Riddler. Why did they have to change everything about the Riddler? I mean,
I don't know, but he did a great creepy job though. Even though he was a murderer.
What's that actor?
Paul Dano,
yeah.
That guy delivers.
The creepy gimp mask was too much, I thought.
Yeah, he was creepy as fuck. Yeah.
From, what was the oil movie?
Yeah, There Will Be Blood.
I drink your milkshake.
I drink your milkshake.
I never saw it, but I've seen that clip so many
There Will Be
times.
Blood, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's gnarly.
Yeah. Did the preacher kid thing. Oh, such a good actor.
Yeah, and that other guy. He's okay.
Daniel Day something.
He's the guy that like lives that part while he's making the movie. He doesn't identify as.
I think he retired, didn't he?
I think he
did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see.
Lincoln's
pretty
bad.
Yeah. Just so you know, it's not the one where he's killing vampires. That's a different.
Which is an enjoyable film all in of itself.
Yeah, that was great. I was thinking, this is not Daniel Day-Lewis. I watched that one thinking that was the one with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh yeah,
it's a great movie. It's ridiculous, but it's great. I mean, it's a popcorn film. Sure, it's not something you're going to take serious. And
it's not a gore fest either. It's
not overly gory yet.
No, and I think that's one of the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Killers. It's a Russian director. I can't remember his other stuff, but he does cool action.
Yeah.
Action film. So.
Right on. What more do we have to say about the DC?
I don't know. I like James Gunn.
James Gunn is apparently the first movie they're going to be doing for the DCU, for the DC universe, is going to be Superman, but it's not going to be Cavill.
No.
That's what people are bitching about.
No, I think it's a younger
Cavill because I thought he left the Witcher series to do more Superman.
He sure did.
But now he's
doing
Superman.
Well, that wasn't his choice.
Can we get him back to the Witcher?
Oh yeah, because it's
Cavill did put the tights back on for at least one thing that I know of. I'm not going to say it because apparently you haven't watched it all the way through. But
well, I heard he made a cameo in
Black Adam. At the end of Black Adam, in the post-credit scene, he shows up. Yeah,
but not as
spoiler.
No, he was Superman. He was full on like the shaved his mustache because we can't have that digital shit again. And then, he had the full suit on.
Speaking of Cavill, have you guys seen on Netflix the Enola Holmes?
Yeah, just
Enola Holmes is great. Yeah, both of them.
I love those movies. Yeah. And my daughter is she's 12. She's lovely. She's like, are there more of these? I'm like, well, hopefully there will be, but not right now.
Yeah, no, that was fun.
We got 2 of them so far.
And it was a really nitty-gritty CGI, but a really nitty-gritty London. Like, because guess what? London's, it was rough. It was rough. It's come a long ways.
I think that's a set over in England as Pinewood Studios because I've seen that set before in a different show, and it's the muddy ground and the carts.
I feel like in that age of London, if you just stepped outside, you would be immediately covered with a layer of soot.
Yeah, no, that's for real.
Yeah, and we're burning.
It's just burning coal. Everybody's burning coal. Yeah, and it wasn't just London, obviously, but that was just a very big city.
But you didn't see any chimney sweeps dancing and singing around.
I know. You can't win them all. Which just
goes you don't have that terrible British accent that
some lady down with an umbrella.
Oi, governor! Like, what the fuck did you just say to me, man?
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Geez, speaking of British authors, so in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, anyways, Alan Moore just won't let us have nice things. So, like, his Mary Poppins is like an omnipotent and not necessarily kind being who gets called in to, like, patch up beetles. Yeah. So, like, Antichrist comes to Earth and is a teenage bastard.
Is this like in a book series?
This is in the later years of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, the comics, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. And so they call on Poppins to take care of it. She's going to take care of the Antichrist because she's the heavy hitter.
So she's like the Navy SEAls of the.
She is because she can do whatever she wants. Whatever she wants happens.
It's like Quartermain still there.
And Quartermain's one of the last left. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question for both of you. Have you seen that movie with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Sean
Connery. What'd you guys think of that movie?
It's awful. There's parts of it that I really like.
I loved it. But then again, I've never read the comics, so I can't really compare it.
Yeah.
But I fucking loved it. I wanted to see
the comics are amazing, but they're rough. Alan Moore does not want us to have nice things. So he just wants to.
He did. He did watch it.
Yeah, and V for Vendetta. And that guy's
V for Vendetta was a great movie.
Oh, yeah. He's a capable guy.
What's funny is that's actually that's a thing that actually happened. I think the V for Vendetta, the whole what's his name? The
Fox Mask.
Guy Fawkes. That's what it is. That was actually a thing that happened in the.
He was going to blow up Parliament. Yeah, no, he's a bomber. I can't really get behind bombers.
There's actually the 5th of November.
I understand frustration.
And because of that, there's actually a state holiday over in England, the 5th of November. People actually burn Guy Fawkes Day. Guy Fawkes Day. I have a friend of mine.
That was just when it was House of Lords. Remember, they didn't have the House of Commons. Yeah.
I learned about that after I saw that movie. My friend George is originally from England, and he goes, "Yeah, that's a holiday over back home." And I was like, "Really? That movie is a holiday?" I was like, "No, not the movie. The thing that happened in the movie actually happened in the real world.
Yeah,
we have a holiday based on that."
What's that? Give the common man some representation?
Kinda. I mean, yeah, there's a lot behind it, but assassinations never help the little people, right?
Well,
that kind of
was always
violence
Look
is
at
always
Archduke Ferdinand. What happened there?
well, yeah, and it's it's the common people pay the price for that.
Yeah.
Oh, every time, because the powers that be just stack on more bullets.
So,
well, right on, DCU. We'll figure out.
I'm looking forward to whatever they. I look forward to whatever they end up doing because James Gunn has done nothing bad with it.
Not
so
that
far.
I can think of. I think he's done pretty good work. Yeah.
Well, 1984 was that under his watch?
1984? No. Oh yes, Wonder Woman. No. That was.
No, he just got there.
Jenkins.
And even '84 wasn't perfect, but it's in its defense, it's not.
Again, I think it's one of those things that try to cram too many known things for Wonder Woman into a movie.
And she was an odd choice for Cheetah, but she's a delight.
Well, dude, no, Cheetah was always her like the Lex Luthor to Superman. Cheetah is to Wonder Woman.
Sure,
but
she has Kirsten
Wiig, yeah.
It seemed an odd choice for transformation into, because Cheetah's a psychotic, you know, and so that was an odd. I can't make myself see her that way because she's one of the queens of comedy.
I think they waited too long for her to turn into Cheetah, though.
Yeah,
I think they should have done it sooner in the movie. I think the thing that I didn't like about it was all the stereotypical '80s things were not very '80s; they were very '90s, like early '90s, late '80s. But and they
Steve.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. One of the things that one of my family members who's not into comics or really into superhero movies is why is she flying like Superman? Because sometime in the '90s they decided an invisible jet was stupid, and they decided you know what, she can fly like Superman too.
She's a creature of magic.
Is she fly or does she just jump really far?
I think now she can fly.
She actually flies. She flies.
In the DC universe, I think she's in the hero side. She's just half a step below Superman. Yeah. No, she's just
a nut here under Superman.
And the trailer on that, this is what I love most about Wonder Woman '84, is the trailer. Is that Depeche Mode?
Yeah.
And where her amazing Gal Gadot leg steps out of a limousine just as the beat drops on that song is one of the best cuts.
I love that version of the song.
It's great. It's a great trailer. It's one of my favorite trailers of all time.
Honestly, if they choose somebody else for Wonder Woman, that's a mistake because we need to keep Gal Gadot in there.
No, she's very good.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And she's not we all grew up.
Linda Carter.
Oh, God bless Linda Carter.
Linda Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I love Linda Carter. She was probably my first crush.
Gorgeous Linda Carter, but Gal Gadot brings that more athletic aesthetic.
Yeah, that former Israeli soldier thing.
Yeah.
I think she does it.
I mean, even if she wasn't playing Wonder Woman, she's a badass. The first movie I ever saw her in was in I think the 6th or 7th. What was the car movies with Vin Diesel? Fast and Furious.
Oh.
She's in one of those. She plays the love interest of one of the guys in one of those movies.
I don't think I made it past the first one.
I've never seen one.
Last year I binge watched all the movies before the new one came out. Was it last year or year before? Either way, I watched all of them prior to the new one coming out, the 9th one. And I'm like, okay, no, these got better, I thought.
See, right,
when they added The Rock and Jason Statham.
The Rock and Jason Statham were in a movie, a standalone.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I did too, because their banter is great.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that both of those guys absolutely hate each other, so that's never going to happen again.
No, in real life, they hate each other.
They don't like each other at all.
Yeah.
So the banter is real.
I thought it was Vin Diesel.
Well, maybe it's Vin Diesel. Maybe that's what it was. I remember hearing about some. I think you're right, honestly. I think it's
mess with it.
Vin Diesel. Honestly, if I had to choose between pissing off Vin Diesel or The Rock, I would rather piss off Vin Diesel because he's not as tall as The Rock or as big as The Rock.
Well, Jason Statham can probably just whoop your ass, right?
He'll probably just grab me by the scruff of my neck and smash my head into a door of a car
or something. He comes from a swimmer background.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the first thing I ever saw him in was the Transporter, which was a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
The sequel's not so much, but the
Yeah,
first
I
one
like
was
that guy.
good.
He delivers the tough guy.
Yeah.
I think he does a good job. Yeah.
You know who I thought would have also made a good, a character to have in, because his character is kind of like a UK thief or whatever, part of a huge thief guild or some shit, and his mom is like Dame Judi Dench and shit. But I think that guy Vinny something, I can't remember his last name, but he is now an actor, but he used to be a footballer back in the day.
Vinny Jones.
Jones, that's the guy.
Great. Oh yeah, from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
He plays the loan shark with the teeth.
Oh.
Yeah. He's also in that.
He just looks chronically angry. Yeah.
He's also in that movie Euro Trip. If you've never seen it, Scotty doesn't know. You need to watch that movie. It's really funny.
Okay.
And he's in it as the head footballer, and it's so good, so funny.
All right, well, let's leave the DCU until we find out more information, and
Yes.
hopefully someday
Cannot wait.
God.
get what we actually want.
Yes.
Until then, we have Kang the Conqueror. So
That's right.
I'm going with it.
You guys, let's play a game.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Let's
here we
play
go.
a game. You guys ready?
Yes.
Don Pardo, tell them what they can win. It's
Absolutely
a
nothing.
brand new used car. A 1976 Chevy Caprice out of the fleet. 2-ton spray paint. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
It includes a cat family that lives in the engine compartment. Winner is responsible for all taxes, towing, and impound fees.
Isn't there a family of trash pandas in the trunk too?
One can hope. So I put together this little game.
Because that's what you do. You're a game.
That's what I do in my
You're
free
a
time.
game designer.
This is sort of fun with surveys and statistics. So I'm going to ask a question. I've got my handy pen so I can keep track of who's going to win. And I'm going to ask a question, and we'll see which we'll let you both answer, and we'll see who's closest.
Cool.
Okay, so let's play. First question. 20 seconds on the clock.
Oh, I should have that. I used to actually have that sound. I should see if I can find it.
Gentlemen,
Not today, but I will.
gentlemen, how many Americans think that the sun revolves around the earth?
Oh.
Todd, go first.
How many what?
Americans think that the sun revolves around the earth?
I'd say probably less than 10,000.
A percentage.
Oh, like a
Or percentage? Percentage? I'd say 35%.
Wow, I hope not. That's terrible.
All right.
Yeah.
Mike, what is your answer?
Well, I say 5%.
5%.
Right. We got it.
You're both wrong.
Oh. Good. Poor trombones.
The answer is 26%, or about 1 in 4 actually still believe that the sun revolves around the earth. This is from a survey taken in 2012, so hopefully in the last
10 years we've gotten
or
so much smarter.
We've gotten a lot smarter. I don't think that's going to be the case, but so no points awarded to anyone on that.
Hey, I was closer.
He was closer.
Yeah, you were close.
And is like.
All right, we'll give. All right,
I'll give
Todd,
that
we'll
to
give you a
Todd.
point. We'll give you a point.
And that's different than like the flat earth thing. Because it wasn't Archimedes, but it was somebody who, with 2 posts, can show that the earth is curved.
Right.
Right? And somewhere in Alexandria, it wasn't.
But it's been
But
in
you
the
can't
last.
necessarily do that without. Yeah, you can. What's the astromechanics where you can just look at the stars and know that that's happening?
Well,
Right?
there's that documentary that was on Netflix where they interviewed a guy from Whidbey Island. And he spent $40,000 on this machine that proves that Earth is moving in a certain way, thinking that it was going to help prove that the Earth is flat, and it disproved his theory.
Oh, that's.
I remember that. Yeah.
This is so funny. Yeah.
All right, question number 2. How many Americans Americans think that God decides who wins football games? Talking American football.
NFL, yeah.
Talking NFL, well, college as well.
American football in general.
How many Americans think God decides who wins football games?
Everybody who sits in front of their TV on Sundays.
I'd say that's a third.
Everybody.
33.
Everyone who gets off their chair and screams at their flat screen because their team is not winning.
Yeah, but then what happens when their team doesn't win?
Damn it, God.
They believe,
it wasn't meant to be.
They blame it on the devil because clearly the devil has
that just
more
seems like it's
control over
slippery
it.
slope.
Yeah.
Right, it does.
Todd, what's your answer? We got 33 from Mike.
You know what? I'm gonna say,
Which I think is really
40%?
yeah.
I think 33 is high.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're both high.
Okay, good.
Basically the same as the last question. It's about 25%.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's still, there's 300 million Americans.
I believe that.
Right?
Like,
That's a lot.
NFL fan.
Yeah.
All right.
Apparently I don't think very highly of people who watch football.
You both went over, but we're going to give that one to Mike because he was a little closer. So it's all tied up, please.
All right.
Cool. Here's an international global question.
Okay.
What is the global, excuse me, I can't speak. What is the global rate for people washing their hands after using the toilet?
Number one or number two?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But what's the global rate?
Because my teeth spiral, so I just pee on my hand.
I think some of the poorer countries that maybe don't have access to.
It's clean water
Well, I
that
mean,
we just take for granted.
Isn't it like India that still has a problem with people just shitting in the streets and stuff too?
I've got some stories.
But honestly, if I had globally the percentage of people who wash their hands, I would hope it's more in the last 2 years than it has been before that.
Globally, it's a different thing. Right?
But I'm still going to say it's probably less than 20%.
I'd say 50. I'm feeling
half and half.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Todd's a little closer on that one. It's actually 20%.
Yeah, but I would also venture to say that is a spare water issue also.
Absolutely.
Right?
Spare water, or it's people who don't believe in COVID.
And again, you brought up a good point right from the beginning, Mike, where
there's not a lot of running water everywhere, bro. Let alone toilet paper.
just number one or number two.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Because I don't pee on myself when I tinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to use my hands.
I shower every day, so
that shouldn't necessarily be an issue.
Yeah. So anyway,
the whole not
But I
peeing on
think
yourself
that's-
is my answer for everything. When someone goes, "Why didn't you wash your hands?" Like, I didn't pee on myself. That's why.
You should see the guy next to me. yeah. I mean, I
all right. Next question. What percentage of Americans think that they are smarter than the average American?
Oh, yeah.
You think Dunning-Kruger?
Yeah. I always want to call it the Dunder Mifflin.
Although that would be funny if they just start calling it that. But no, there's so many people who think they're smarter than other people.
And we
They
love
know
ego.
absolute shit.
Hey, boo boo.
Yeah. Hey, boo-boo.
Smarter than the average bear.
I'm going to say 51.25%.
Go.
I'm going to say 32%.
All right, Mike is the winner on that
Oh,
one.
that
It's
hurts.
55%.
That's fucked up. That is fucked
55.
up. Because
honestly,
55%
I should have guessed higher.
can't be smarter than the average.
Everybody,
It wouldn't
more
be
than
an
half the
average.
people think they're smarter than the other.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I'd never even heard of Dunning-Kruger before the pandemic because Jordan Klepper, I think is his name, the guy that does
the Daily Show.
does the going to like the rallies and talking to people, asks them if they know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, and he explains it to them and says, "Oh yeah, that's totally Biden." Blah 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 blah. And, yes, it's
like it's Doppler radar.
All right, next question. What percentage of Americans do not know who the United States gained their independence from?
Oh, jeez.
What percentage?
the South.
Wow. Yeah, they're all like, it was French.
Start with Mike. What percentage?
I'll say 10.
10.
Right, I mean, I'm just trying to think of like 1492, Columbus sailed. Is there not a limerick, but is there a
I'd say-
mnemonic device?
I'm going to say
for that?
15%.
I think so. You're both low.
Jesus.
But Todd is closer. It's actually 24% again.
Wow.
Used to be the magic number on my little.
And yeah, that's got to be all the southern states, right?
Again, this is from 2014. This survey. So hopefully in the last 8 years we've got.
Yeah, well, we got the internet.
Yeah, that doesn't make people smarter,
No,
though,
it
Mike.
doesn't at all.
It doesn't.
I know.
If we've
I know.
learned anything from having computers in our pockets, people don't get smarter because of it.
This is a good question. Right? I really like this one. How many times does the average drunk? How many times does the average drunk drive under the influence before being caught? How many times will they actually get behind the wheel and drive drunk?
How would we know that, though? Like they're admitting to having done it?
That's the only thing I can
It's
fun of the survey.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot.
A lot.
I'm going to say 10.
10.
10.
I say more than 10.
More than 10. It's definitely more than 10. It's 80 times.
That's terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
80 times before they get a
Before they
DWI?
actually
That's
get
a
the
lot of
DWI.
bullet dodging.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of bullet dodging. Which also means, due to statistics, that somebody did it once and somebody did it 159 times.
Right. Just for the average.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That scares me, man.
No,
All right, just a couple more.
All right.
How many adult Americans cannot read above a third grade level?
Me!
In millions. How many
well,
millions of adult Americans?
If there's like 180 adult Americans, I think.
180 million?
Something like that. The rest of
Sound right?
kids.
It's like 360 million? Or is it higher now? Anyway, how many in millions cannot read above?
20.
How many people
24
voted for
million.
Trump?
24.
That's the number.
There's a big number.
That's the number.
Probably 54 million?
Something like that.
I think that's the number.
Okay, it's 36 million.
Okay.
But that's not too surprising because we are a country of immigrants, right? So when you say read above a third grade level, does that mean, English is the second language, has a hard time reading?
Could be. Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're stupid people. Just means that maybe they can't read
Sure.
English books. But 36 million is the
Yeah.
number that they throw out.
Yeah. And I think reading is something that people who can do it just got to take for granted.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
not, because it's not a natural activity.
Hey, Charles. I don't mean to interrupt, but your phone has got a little thing on it. I don't know what that says.
We may have just lost connectivity. All right. Which percentage of the population of America do farmers and ranchers make up? So what percentage of
Farmers
our
and ranchers?
population are actually farmers and ranchers?
Less than 3.
You know what? I'm going to say 5%.
It's actually less than 2% of Americans make up farmers and ranchers, which is probably sort of surprising just because of how much ranch and farmland there is. But it's all corporate.
It's machine.
Corporately owned and then run by like 5 people on like a 500-acre
It's pretty
ranch.
amazing. Yeah, and we produce it from.
It's all computerized and run by machines.
And the last bonus question, what percentage of Americans actually trust surveys?
Less than half.
I'd say probably 30%. What do you think, Mike?
I'll go with 48%.
Okay. What happened on your
It's
phone?
actually about 15%, guys. 15%.
15%.
15. Oh, geez. 15% trust.
Trust surveys.
Hey, if all
It's
else
about
fails, Charles,
36% that trust all surveys. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
I can kind of hear you, but I don't think that's through the mic. What was it you said?
About 36 trust some surveys.
36.
The
Okay.
ones they agree with.
36%
Who wants
trust
to agree?
surveys. I was gonna say if all else fails, Charles, mine is still going, and provided the audio's not crapped out, we can just use that video. And
Yeah, no worries.
Keep in mind, folks, this is only our second recording, so we're still working everything out. By the time we get to like episode 20, I think we'll have most of the tech issues figured out.
We'll be tap dancing, juggling, and podcasting simultaneously.
we'll have all of our power sources plugged into our devices and recording from 3 different directions.
Right on. I guess I lost storage capacity.
Oh, jeez.
On the old phone. All right. So, anyway, good job, Todd. Pick up your vehicle after the show.
Does it run?
No.
No questions. No questions.
All right.
No questions asked. We do take check or money order. All right. That was a fun little game, guys. Thank you for playing.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a new segment that we're going to try today, and it is called the Random Question.
Okay.
And that is a segment where each of us are going to ask another member of the show a random question and have them answer it. And hopefully that'll spark some good conversation.
I'm sure it will.
Who wants to ask who what? I can ask Todd a question.
Go for it. Yeah.
Todd can ask Mike a question.
Oh.
And Mike can ask me a question.
Okay.
That
works.
All right, Todd, I got a special question for you. It's about one of your favorite subjects of all time.
Star Wars.
What is the most developed Star Wars character? Can be in all the movies, all the shows. The most developed, the character that's the most well-rounded and brought out.
I mean, are you talking like actual development or my personal feelings on it?
That's your personal favorite. Which one do you think is the
wrong
most?
Answer.
Yeah. No wrong answer. So I mean, it could be.
I'm just because I know that there's so many fucking fanboys who are like, "That's not right." Fuck those guys. Honestly, I think the one who's probably got the most development at this point, either Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars or Ahsoka Tano from Clone Wars and whatever else she's been in.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, geez, I always forget to that Clone Wars is canon, right?
Anything that's on camera is considered canon. So
Yeah,
if it's in a story on a book or comic, unless it's
Well,
those aren't canon anymore because Disney doesn't own those stories.
yeah,
That's why.
Star Wars.
That's what got a lot of fans like really pissed off. Disney says those are no longer canon because we don't own those stories. So that's not the exact wording they use, but that's essentially what they meant.
Sure.
Because all the extended universe were owned by the people who wrote those stories, not George Lucas. He said, "Yeah, go ahead, use my characters. I don't care." So yeah,
right. All right. So Anakin.
And I think Anakin or Ahsoka.
Okay.
I mean, because of those cartoons focused heavily on those characters, and that's probably why. Or I'd even go as far as putting the younger Obi-Wan into that kind of lineup of characters too.
Do you think they did a pretty good job with the Obi-Wan series and kind of?
I fucking love that series. And in fact, that's the first time I was legitimately like, "Oh my god, Vader is terrifying."
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I loved Vader. He didn't scare me as much as he would think.
Just absolute destruction.
Oh yeah.
So, being that both of you guys have lived here like most of your life, did either one of you go to Sears here in Renton to meet Vader when he was here?
No.
I went in Seattle.
Okay, because I think it was between the first and second movie, or maybe it was within
Sears. That's
the
cool.
Sears here in Renton.
Yeah.
I have a no.
Across the street.
It was right next to
Kmart.
It's right next to where it's right next to where Walmart is now.
Yeah.
That's an apartment complex or something now. But yeah, I remember going to Sears, and my sister took the picture of me shaking his hand, and I have this memory of like walking up and saying, "I know your real name," and he squeezed my hand when he shook it. This is.
I wonder if that was the guy in the suit, or if that was him just staying in character.
I think he's in character.
Don't tell anybody, kid.
But it was like it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the actor who was inside the costume in the movies.
Yeah, David Prowse.
David Prowse. And that's what I thought it was.
I like
David Prowse.
Yeah.
And he squeezed my hand, and wow. And then my sister took the picture.
What age was the young cousin Todd at that point?
It had to have been between the first three movies.
80,
So
right?
it was like 79, 80. I think it was before. It was before Empire, so it had to be like 79. So it was probably like 6 or 7.
Okay.
I was really young.
Great.
Yeah.
On a side note, one of my ex-wives used to work at that Renton Sears years ago, and I bought my first full-on, awesome in-cabinet stereo system, complete with record player, dual cassette deck,
legit.
Nice.
Just enough room to fit about 20 albums on the bottom. Anyway, I digress.
So back to the show.
That series was great, though. It was.
All right.
So you got a question for Mike?
Yeah. Okay. Just off the top of my brain pan, how long have you been growing your chops?
Oh, geez. 1999.
So about 20 years. Wow.
Yeah, right before I went to Eastern Europe.
I do remember a time where I put a band together to be on TV.
Yeah, remember that with Raw T?
Raw T.
Yeah, is he around?
I don't know where Monty is.
Yeah, that guy could play. Yeah. And I kept trying to get him to fire me. I was on drums. I'm like, dude, I can play drums. Fire me. Like, you got the look.
Well, you guys practiced like for 30 minutes before, the day before the big performance. Yeah. But anyway, I remember Mike being short hair and clean shaved and all that. But what year was that? That would have been
95, something. Yeah, because I was dreaded up till Duke came along.
Yeah.
And then I
was that about the
foolishly.
So did you started growing your locks as well?
No, I was short haired for a minute there when I was just working 3 jobs. Yeah. But then I finally saw that was dog shit, so I grew my hair back.
So have you ever cut it since you started growing it?
I think I've had 3 haircuts since 1989.
Wow.
3 or 4 haircuts. It's just not my my ninja way.
You don't trim it that often to kind of keep it kind of growing and whatnot.
And nature loving balance is taking a lot of it from the top and bringing it to my inner ear, which I find.
You trying to get it matted into your hairs?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Samson in his power, right?
Yes, so I like Samson. Yeah. Get my eyes burned out. I mean, he gets racked for no good reason.
Right.
Yeah. The Philistines.
I'm legitimately trying to think of anybody else I've ever known to have locks, and I think you're probably the only person I know in the last 20 years.
And I kind of do it my way. I don't know how anybody else does their shit, but I don't use any weird shit, right, at all. I just don't.
Of the celebrities I can think of that have had locks, the only ones that are popping in my head is Lenny Kravitz and ICP.
Sure. Oh, sure. I just like to be compared to Lenny Kravitz. Did everybody catch that? That's on film. Right? Everybody heard me and Lenny Kravitz in the same sentence.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
hey, you should get closer to the mic, too. That sounds better. Yeah, that's good. I mean, we can hear you, but closer is better.
I'd like to get the full effect.
We want to get the buttery
butter.
Of
my question, and it's kind of different, but just can you tell me, when did somebody do you a solid? Something that just sticks in your mind. It could have been a stranger, a loved one, out of left field, expected anything. Just somebody does you a solid.
Gosh. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is a few years ago, I was at a shop and I pulled out a wad of cash and I dropped a honey right there in the store and walked away from it. And it was probably a good solid 7 minutes later that this guy came up and said, "Hey, you dropped this." And for a minute there, I was like, "Wow, how the hell did I drop?" And I counted out my cash, and sure enough, I was $100 short. So I bought the guy a Coke, and we called it good.
Geez, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a good reward for a $100 bill.
Stranger love, man.
Yeah, that is. Especially cash money.
Cash money. Right there.
Geez, no, that's a solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez.
He must not have needed a $100 bill.
Well, he likes to sleep at night. I think a lot of people don't care, right?
Honestly, if I was broke and like I found $100 bill, I'm like, holy shit, I could use this right now. But if I didn't need it, I would definitely be like, who dropped this?
Yeah, finding it and seeing it drop, though. How soon he saw you drop it, right? Is my guess, right?
Yeah. Well, if I saw someone drop it, then that's one thing I would probably.
That's kind of a different set of circumstances.
If I would have found it, like there's nobody around, it's mine.
That's different. Until somebody says something different, you know what I mean? Like, oh, geez, I happen to lose $100 bill. Right.
What were the last 3 numbers on the bill?
Yeah. Just to be cheap.
Because people know this.
Oh, you're off by one.
All right, good questions, guys.
That's that.
You like that segment?
Yeah, we should do that more. I like that, and I actually like the random questions one too. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's good variety.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Star Wars character. Rando Calrissian.
Rando. Funny enough, that's actually part of Cards Against Humanity. Rando Calrissian.
It is.
When you don't have enough, when you don't have enough players, somebody pulls a card out of the deck to add another answer card.
Yeah,
That's not a bad idea.
What I wrote on my Magic the Gathering card boxes when it's just a bunch of stuff thrown in there. Rando. Just random. So I'm not going to dig through there.
In Magic, do you put together a deck, or does it have to be random?
No, you do. No, that's kind of
You build a deck.
Yeah, you build a deck. Yeah, no, that's the point. Because that way you get to
you
customize it. It's like, if you could have, even on a chessboard, you would still only have X amount of pieces. But if you could pick and choose how many of each piece you could have.
I want all rooks.
Or something like that, right? Yeah, or up to 4
Although
of
I've
each.
heard recently that like you can't use certain cards anymore because they're so powerful. They're
Oh, sure. There's been a ban list. Oh, yeah, sure. In certain formats, yeah. But that does not detract from the fun and, no, it's one of the great games of all time. It really is. It's a great game.
Okay, cool.
That I spent my kids' inheritance on.
Made right here in Renton.
Yes.
No,
No,
I almost
TM, please send us free product.
Hasbro, yes, I would. Hasbro
Sponsorship opportunities.
Oh yeah,
We're not the best, but we are on the cheapest.
Oh yeah. If you send me stuff, I will be relentless.
Only thing I want from Hasbro for free is the Robosyn Optimus Prime because I can't afford to throw down $800 on a Transformer.
Oh man, Hasbro's got all the.
Well, they don't make them, but they license out the characters.
Sure.
But
they're the license owner.
Yeah. This robot, it's like, as it stands, it's about this tall. It's about this wide. And when it transforms into the truck, it's like this big. It's massive, and it's like a Siri or Alexa. You say Optimus, it goes, greetings, and it has Peter Cullen's voice too, which is amazing.
Jeez.
And then you can say transform, and it'll start transforming right for you. And it does all kinds of poses and shit. And it will drive around your room if you tell it to.
Are you kidding me?
Huh. No.
I need one.
$750 plus shipping.
Well.
And that's just the truck. If you want the trailer, it's another $750. $1,200, $1,400. Yeah.
So in the Transformer, just the standard ones, he doesn't need both pieces to be Optimus Prime?
No, become a base.
The original toy, because I had it,
right.
the trailer turned into like a mobile office thing where he had extra weapons. It's essentially had
fax machine.
It had extra guns and shit. Yeah.
Optimus Prime.
Transform and roll out. Yeah. But yeah. No.
Wait, I need to send these faxes.
I actually almost got a job working for Hasbro. I almost got a job working for Hasbro doing support for the computer version of the card game, Magic the Gathering. Yeah. And they told me in the interviews that, we would have hired you if you knew how to play.
Oh, I was
like,
should have taken lessons.
Oh, yeah, no, give me 15 minutes.
Dude, I had so many people trying to show me how to play that game, and every time my brain goes, and I can't remember shit from what I was taught. So,
my son was Yu-Gi-Oh! That was the big thing for a while. Was Jupe into that yourself?
Yeah, we read the comics. So that was part of the Shonen Jump Weekly. Yeah. No, he never really did get into cards.
Yeah, I just saw that as a huge
money pit.
And I'm like,
no lies detected.
Dude, any game that requires a monthly subscription, I'm not playing. So I never played Crack the Gathering or World of Warcraft. None of those games. Yeah, World of Warcraft, $15 a month for the privilege to play a game you paid $80 for. No thanks. The game is free now. You can download the game for free, I guess.
Is it still big or somewhat big?
I think there's still lots of people playing it.
Yeah.
Probably the people who started when they were 12, are still playing it and ignoring their kids and everybody else in the house.
Gotta have hobbies.
Yeah. No, it makes,
Sorry, I don't mean to be shaming anybody who likes to play World of Warcraft, but that's what I saw when I was watching my friends play. They were ignoring their kids and playing that game for hours.
Yeah, it was huge.
All right, moving on the big show, live from the Renton Civic Theatre in beautiful downtown Renton.
Yes.
Normally, right now, we would do our top 5. Do we have top 5 prepared?
I have them on my phone, so I'm gonna try to remember what I wrote down.
Okay, no problem. What I posed to you guys this week was the top 5 events or news stories of 2022 that affected you the most. Could be personal, could be something in the news, something like that. So
I'll let you guys go first because
okay.
I'm going to try to remember what I wrote down.
Well, I'll start off. Big thing everybody knows about right now is the inflation, right? The mighty inflation with the prices going up, and with that was a lot of normal supply stuff that just you couldn't get right away, right? Earlier in the year.
Toilet paper,
what was it? Baby formula,
milk,
for a while there, and just grocery items, and that really affected a ton of people.
Thanks, Biden.
Well, yeah.
That's what people are saying anyhow. I don't believe
that's really easy.
Yeah.
Biden has as much control over the inflation rate as he does on gas prices.
Right.
Which is pretty much.
But that doesn't stop people from blaming on him.
Yeah, but for me, my job is to sell people stuff, my normal day job, and that really affected my ability to convince people to spend the money because they didn't have, extra income to drop on stuff. So it's just kind of a domino effect. So that's my number 5.
And I think it's also the reality, of feeling the pinch, and also just the idea that, the shine kind of got taken off.
Yeah.
Right. So because we were kind of running away at stimulus money, and a lot of older Americans died.
Yeah.
But I think we thought we were just going to chug on and be able to buy shit from Grub until But that stuff costs. Right. There's costs all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the bonking sound?
I was just going to say, I'm hearing kind of a knocking sound. Maybe our neighbors are having sex.
There's nobody else in the building. So it's either the ghost or somebody out back.
Probably out back, dude.
That's not the boiler.
You don't think it's the boiler?
Let's hope it's the boiler. Boiler's in the back. Is that better?
Maybe somebody had like one of those bags you see in theaters get dropped on them. They're stuck and they're trying to pound on them.
Yeah.
It's the guy that Bill Holes sealed up in the wall.
The cask of Amatello or whatever.
That one guy who gave a bad review on Google Maps.
Right. All right, Mike, what's your number 5, sir?
Well, not to sound petty, but my van broke down this summer.
Oh, shit.
Which just fucked me up, because that's my busy time. I have an old van. It's difficult in a lot of ways to find parts for it, blah, 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 and it just kind of had a lot of cascading issues.
Yeah.
And then really it really did. It threw me back, and that was a no. So that was my...
Car problems.
Oh, it was awful.
Yes.
And it takes me out of work, right? Because without my van, I can't work.
Right.
And it's a bother. So,
big bother.
Yeah.
Oh, bother. That's what I said.
Oh, bother. Yeah.
Todd, you got a remembrance of one from your phone?
I think that as far as events that have affected me in 2022, I don't know if affect is the right word, but it's starting this podcast is probably on the list, because, so that's a new podcast of two. I know you both from various places, but I don't know you that well, so we're kind of really getting to know each other while doing this. So I think that's affected me. For sure.
That's great.
That's lovely.
That's like the Goonies.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number 4 was.
Does it make me chunk?
No, I just wonder if we have to be like blood brothers. Do we have to do something?
Biohazard, no.
Yeah, but not age of COVID.
No.
My number 4 was the election. It was just crazy. I'm a political guy. I follow politics pretty regularly.
Like this
Political
midterms?
scientist.
Oh.
This midterm thing was just amazing. First time in the history, or in a lot of years, where the party in power did not lose both houses.
And did not just get smacked.
It was going to be this red wave that just turned into a red trickle.
It turned into a red puddle. Yeah.
And even with extreme gerrymandering.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But like astounding gerrymandering.
Yeah, astounding gerrymandering. Yeah. And that's the way that, one of the parties.
I think there we go. That's why.
Oh, that did a thing.
I just realized why I'm so
That's good
quiet.
radio, boys and girls.
I was trying to figure out why I'm so quiet. And I just realized, sorry folks.
Yeah, so what
I turned my mic around because I was like, why am I so fucking quiet? And now
you're so front and back to this thing?
Oh yeah. yeah. And now I don't sound so bassy,
I don't know, it sounded
I don't know. Maybe we should have figured that out before we hit record.
Come around this side. I think it's all about.
It'll be coming right, going to really go.
Well, I mean, yeah, this mic wasn't cheap.
No, that's
got this a couple years ago. Sorry, I should have done that beforehand.
No.
I realized that was
all good.
It's so quiet.
It's live. We're doing it live. We're doing
live.
I
still want to
I
fish
should
fight that
grab
guy.
that sound effect and throw it
Yeah,
in there.
I want to fight that guy. I want to fight him so bad.
Or
So bad.
the Casey when he's freaking out about the
I don't remember Casey Kasem.
oh dude
yeah.
he has a fucking meltdown because he's reading this story about someone's pet dying. He's like, why do we have the positive fucking music playing while I'm reading about this goddamn dog?
Yeah, what was
And
that?
he went off on
himself.
yeah.
He's done off a couple times. And because what's the band? Negative Land had a thing with a bunch of Casey Kasem outtakes, and they got sued for it.
Man.
I'll
have to check that out.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
One of my
No, they're not a pleasant band, but it's interesting stuff.
Yeah.
The only person I know, the only band I've ever known to actually use like clips of like radio hosts as part of their music. There's a buddy of mine who in Seattle who did industrial like EDM stuff, and he would use clips of Art Bell from Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah.
And I think the first time he posted his songs on YouTube, they got flagged because of the Art Bell clips. If you're not familiar with who Art Bell is, he was the original host of Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah, one of the great radio voices. His voice is amazing. Yeah.
He did shows about like UFOs and government cover-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's hosted by George Norrie, but
It's a different thing. And
similar but not quite.
yeah, and that's like QAnon came along and a bunch of people fell into it. And I'm just like, a lot of people didn't spend their time listening to Coast to Coast and its shows. It's like you could have got all this out of your system, right? And just been able to weigh it all out. But no, you had to dive in and
all those guys who do like the Coast to Coast or even the Ancient Aliens show. All those guys are like, I don't know if you've heard any of their stuff recently, but they're all in. They've all got their foot into the QAnon thing. So
it's just bummer.
Sad.
It's a market.
It is. It makes a
It's
lot
like,
of money. If
man,
I could figure out
it's
how to
like-
do it without like losing my soul.
No,
and
just
make
like
money off of
Dennis
stupid
Miller
people,
and all these
I would
guys.
totally
It's
do
like
that.
You just got to sell supplements.
yeah.
Or just tell people.
Or would it
things-
shill something,
you know,
right? Rather shill an
I'm not
anger,
saying it's
you're shilling
aliens, Chuck, but it's aliens.
yeah. Which translated to me means I don't know how it happened. So therefore, it must be beyond humanity if I myself can't conceive of it.
I think that's the best. I think it was in a movie.
Pyramids here and there's pyramids there. Oh my God, they gotta be connected.
You know, I don't remember what movie it's from, but there's a movie where someone says, "How do they move those massive blocks? Massive whips, man. Massive whips.
Yeah.
And lots of slaves."
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think they just carved away everything around.
Yeah, that's possible.
That makes sense.
That's what all the sand is.
But yeah. What were we talking about?
We're back to Mike. Give us your number 4.
Number 4 thing that affected me. Oh, geez, I don't know. Well, my cat rubbed his behind across a lily, and evidently lily pollen, any portion of the lily flower, is deadly to cats. Causes a renal shutdown. Yeah. So this cat is gorgeous. I cannot tell you how incredibly beautiful this cat is. So I would give the perfect kind.
Okay.
He's kind of a Maine Coon, but he's just a stud. Anyway, so we rush him to the 24-hour emergency vet, and he ends up just fine. So they shaved off a little bit of his buns. But,
that's good.
But it cost a whole bunch of money. So this is why not only the panic and the new gray hairs.
When you say they shave the hair, or did they have to do some surgical work around?
No, they just cut off the portion that had got the pollen on it.
Yeah,
so he wouldn't lick himself because we caught it.
Oh, so it was on his hair. So that's good.
Yeah, it's just on his fuzz. Yeah, because we allow our cats to do anything. Right. So here I am at the dinner table eating my dinner, minded my own beeswax, and up jumps a cat. Do I shoo him away? Oh! No, he just does whatever the fuck he wants in my house. Wow. And so he's like eating my food from my plate like I'm being pumped in prison. And here's the flower. So his derriere is in the flower pollen. And he had turned around, and I thought it was like, some kind of condiment. And I'm like, what the? But then I realized what it was. We brushed him with
Oh, man.
a very expensive place.
It became a very expensive
but I'm glad he's
portion of your
okay.
food.
Because my cats, and might I compliment you on your not only festive, but
my festive kitty cat
kitty cat shirt.
Yes.
I don't know how well that's shown up on camera, but we'll
okay.
Find out.
That's okay. Todd, give us your number.
Number 4? I'm trying to remember what I wrote down. Events of 2022. I went to Emerald City Comic Con for the first time in 12 years. So it was the first time being at the re-pop version of the convention, because the last time I went to the con, it was the old owners of the convention, and prices were much cheaper back then. But they have a lot more stuff now. I didn't get over to the part of the convention that I really wanted to see, which was like where all the voice actors were, because Peaking the Brain were there, and so were the Animaniacs. So I really wanted to see those guys. I'd met them once before. They're really cool. So yeah, I think that's probably number 4 of events in my world, anyhow.
Nice. Yeah. Well, my number 3, moving right along the list, is Elon Musk buying Twitter. Oh yeah. And just the crap show that has become. Are you guys Twitter users?
I have like 5 Twitter accounts for all the things I used to do, but I don't actively use them. I have them there to like throw posts out like, hey, I'm doing this on this platform that I'm on all the time, and I'm not on Twitter. But yeah, so I use it. I used it for reposting of things from Facebook for a while, and then I stopped caring about Twitter like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I just find it amazing that this multi-billionaire bought Twitter for way more than it was probably worth. Yeah, what it sounds like.
Yeah, maybe. His argument was there was a bunch of bots on there, but
he's got to get rid of
so far I don't think he's done that. Right, so I'm not sure if that was true or not. I think that might have just been a negotiation.
I think he just wanted to buy it so he could give their voice back to the people who've been booted off there for being.
Which is complete crap because he's already thrown people off.
Yeah. Like journalists.
May or may not have given him a bad story.
Yeah.
No, I think that was it. He just wanted to buy a PR.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Wayne Randolph Hearst or
He
whatever.
has way too much
Millionaires
fun on
always
Twitter.
do that. And I subscribe to Washington Post, but that's Amazon. It's Amazon.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's
Jeff
basically,
Bezos, yeah.
that's it. And that's the trouble with
Seattle's own
Yeah.
Lex Luthor. Yeah.
It's just that's the trouble with concentrations of power, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's church power, corporate power, economic power, it doesn't matter. When you have concentrated power, it's like they always want more, right? And it always comes down to wanting more by cajoling and corralling and controlling, right? Every fucking time.
I saw a thing today about Twitter that made me giggle a little bit. Everybody remember Tom from MySpace?
Oh yeah.
He wants to be the new boss of Twitter.
Oh really?
Yeah, because Elon was like, I'm going to step away from
As soon
operations.
as I find somebody that's capable.
Yeah.
Well, he's still the
And then
owner.
Tom was
It doesn't
like-
fucking matter.
Tom replied it with his profile pic from MySpace. I'm like, hey, if Tom can, make Twitter better again, maybe they should put that on a T-shirt. Make Twitter better again.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Twitter's,
Yeah.
it's really the only thing it gets from my account that never gets used is anytime I listen to a new podcast on my podcasting software on my phone, it sends a tweet out of the last episode I listened to.
Right.
When I finish up the episode, it automatically posts, and that's it. I don't actively go on there and read tweets.
That's pretty handy that it does that automatically.
It seems like Twitter is part of the news now, right? So people,
Except it doesn't have the same accountability.
it
strain.
doesn't.
Right,
Doesn't.
that's
But
the
people
thing.
use it as the news. Like, so if
Yeah.
somebody tweets something out.
Yeah.
it becomes
Wait a minute.
story.
Since when has the news had any accountability?
Well, since they can be sued,
20 years.
right?
Right.
Then you can sue real news, right? Not like entertainment.
I honestly think that Fox should rebrand that station to FAUX.
Well, they're not considered news.
It's
That
news
is
entertainment.
Yeah.
So that is the difference.
But they really should call themselves faux news.
And
because
that's-
they're not
yeah.
really a news station.
That's also because the FCC has been kind of corporatized, et cetera. And if we really want to fix social media, then call it a public utility, right? Just like you would with newspapers, right? And that kind of thing. So that way, there is a certain set of rules they have to abide by. It has to be in the public good. Yeah, and then you can strengthen them, right? You can't strengthen no rules. And then just going, well, I'm a private company. I can keep people on as I by whim. And I can boot people by whim. There's no protections there. There's no First Amendment protections for a private company at all.
Right.
At all. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
except slander, but that's not First Amendment. That's just slander.
Yeah. Has anybody else, do you know of anybody who's actually jumped ship from Twitter? Like, deleted their accounts?
When it first happened, there was a bunch of people that I think, celebrity types that came out. But I couldn't tell you anybody.
But has anybody else, signed up for other platforms knowing that Twitter is going to be, this place of
Social.
Or Mastodon or something.
Mastodon, I signed into that. I was like, which server do you want to connect to? I was like, I don't know. Give me one. I don't care.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it's not plug and play, nobody's going to do it.
I mean, they said, do you want to do sports? Do you want to do sport? You want to do entertainment? Do you want personal? He gave me 10 different choices of what server I'm going to post on.
Something about cats.
Yeah, there was one about cats.
Oh, there was? Oh.
There really was.
I'm on it.
Yeah. So, no more.
I already have Instagram for cat videos or TikTok for that.
And Donald hasn't gone. Don Trump hasn't gone back to Twitter.
He's got his own thing, yeah. So that'd be shooting himself in the foot.
Well, Elon unblocked his account, so he can log back in if he wanted to. But he's not. I don't see him ever going back to Twitter.
Well, and that's just cutting his own throat, really, right?
It's like, fuck that
He's
shit.
trying
I'm
to make
done.
money from Truth Social. It's like,
Truth
he's
Social.
got to be the main draw.
The
Truth
funny thing about
Social,
Truth
right?
Social is that it's not even its own thing. It's based on a open source Twitter.
Yeah, because these
knockoff.
are not the sharp knives, dude. Right? These are not the creative.
These are the butter
Which-
knives that are in the
yeah,
junk drawer.
Yeah. Just like, this is not a one-to-one comparison in some ways, but like the Nazis stole iconography, ideas, etc. It's like, these are not the creative types.
Yeah.
They push back against the creative
Yeah.
types. Right?
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't see value in the creative types, but they will steal everything under the sun.
Hey, that looks cool. Use that.
Yeah.
And I actually recently had someone that asked me, well, what about, the swastika, the original meaning of the swastika? It doesn't fucking matter because it's being used by Nazis.
It's been co-opted now. Yeah, and
it doesn't matter.
And it was the opposite direction. Anyway.
It was the opposite direction, and it was some sort of like
it's a Japanese
pagan thing.
Yeah, not a. Maybe that's at one point. It's not a pagan thing. It's a. I used it.
It's mentioned at the beginning of the Da Vinci Code. I'll have to rewatch that movie. But yeah.
And somebody mentioned Bezos earlier. Bezos' ex-wife, I think, Mackenzie, right?
Yeah.
Might be able to make myself available if,
Is that your free pass?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Put it out.
It depends if the checkbook's left on the mantle.
She has a bunch of blank checks.
Yeah. Oh man, she seems to be actually a really nice lady who's giving away money. So
really nice.
That's nice. But come to Renton. Come to Renton. That's all I'd say. Well, yeah. Hang out.
Yeah, we want to start a podcast network.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I'll show you the town.
I don't know where we were. I think Mike, you're up with
number 3. Impacting events. I just try to be zen, man. Make it through each day without losing my mind.
Is there any news story that struck you this year? Just kind of.
Well, jeez.
I mean, there's a ton.
A lot. I really do like the recently the successful fusion thing.
Yeah.
I really like the James Webb thing. I think science has done pretty neat things recently. We're starting to beat hepatitis C. That's nice. I don't know. I think humans are doing a lot of really good things. We just got to get past, a lot of our failings, right? But as far as the big story, I don't know. I really do like the fusion thing is making me happy. It really is. I think
or just that one step closer to having warp drive is what you're saying.
Yeah, and just not having to. I mean, we just signed an $860 billion defense bill, right? It's like, and most of that really, honestly, is used to keep oil flowing, right? In one form or another. It's like either protecting, the shipping lanes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of which, I mean, that's a whole other subject. But if we had an energy system that was not, bad, we'd save a lot of money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Into the Stark arc welder, arc reactors, that'd be amazing. Because then we'd have like unlimited energy and but yeah.
Yeah, but on the military, to your point, I think the U.S. spends more on military infrastructure than the next 6 countries combined.
I think it's like 7.
I think that's because we have the largest army or the largest military in the world.
No, not even close.
Really?
Really don't.
I thought we're the ones that get loaned out to other countries when they don't have enough people.
But we have a lot of really good gear. It's not necessarily
it's not the number of people. It's the quality.
China definitely has the most. They call it the $1 million
I believe that. Yeah.
Okay.
And don't forget, they also get like 30 to 1. Like what we get for a defense dollar, they get a lot more for their defense dollars.
I should rephrase it. It's not the number of people that we have. It's the quality we have of gear and the people that know how to use it.
Yeah.
Was it a couple years ago where those people decided they wanted to rush Area 51? All those people showed up at the gates,
which was delightful. Yeah.
I watched a little bit of the live stream and I'm like, okay, these people are either going to get shot or arrested. I was hoping for the first one, honestly, but
Todd's dark.
I mean, if you're dumb enough to walk onto military bases,
they got to the fence, right?
He says this in a Santa hat.
Yeah.
They have the sign that says, deadly force authorized.
Yeah, like don't do
on big red letters, big fucking red letters on this sign in front of the gate.
But also, they're obviously not an invading force, right? But I don't think any of them breach the fence. Right?
But, I'm not mistaken. Being shot and being killed are two different things.
Yeah, but man, it's really hard not to die when you get shot. You're lucky if you don't die.
They're like,
not everybody's
at your ankles or whatever.
They are not trained to shoot at your ankles.
Yes, I would be willing to bet. And the kids are all doing the Naruto run up to the fence.
Oh, God, that was so stupid.
Oh, it's a delight.
Oh, my God. People don't run like that in real life. Why would you do that?
They're ninjas. It's different.
They get inside and Brent Spiner's down there with,
Yeah. Oh, poor dude.
His face pressed up against the glass.
Yeah.
But, so we should get back to the
Todd, what's your number 3?
My number 3 for this year, let me think. Things that stand out for 2022. I got my disability in 2022, so that's a big thing. That should probably be number 1. I just realized that happened early this year. But yeah.
Thank you, FDR.
Yeah. All right. Well, my number dose is the war in Ukraine. I'm baffled by this Russian aggression.
Oh, it makes total sense to me.
Well, I'm not baffled by the want for them to do it. I'm baffled by how able they are to do it in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just got used to blowing up barely armed Syrians.
That's true.
And they went by on their reputation. Everybody's been telling us how unfucking stoppable the Russian military is. That's where they put their blood, sweat, and tears. The Spetsnaz dudes are the best in the world. The Mossad look up to them and all this shit. They haven't done a fucking thing.
Didn't they
Fuck
get
those
stopped
guys.
by the little
Yeah.
from push back?
Yeah. Hallelujah. And I don't mean to besmirch the Ukrainians, right? I mean, obviously,
they did
fighting
everything they could to keep it
they're orchestrating things well. They, you know what I mean? It's home court advantage, everything. But I don't want to pretend that the Russians did anything right.
No, they didn't do it.
Yeah. It's unreal how poorly they have performed. And fuck them.
Yeah. Did you guys see the video of that island, or I think it was an island, that told the Russian the Russian Navy to go fuck themselves? Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
when they asked the Ukrainians to surrender.
I think they were looking for they were also looking for supplies.
The Russians were?
They were looking for supplies. They were running out of fuel. And they were going to this island that had a fueling station, and they're like, "Yeah, go fuck yourselves. We're not helping."
Fueling you up, bro? Yeah, it's madness.
Yeah,
but it's a great piece of real estate in Ukraine, and now that United States is not in 1860, I think we like to think of ourselves as much more progressive than we actually are.
Yeah.
So it's easy to point fingers and they're you got to see what they do with orphans and what they do with, it's all this old Soviet era social program stuff that's pretty awful, right? But their economy is tiny compared to us. Because remember, Russia's not even a GDP, right? They're like the 12th largest economy or something. Yeah. It's like in Ukraine, but Ukraine is also the bread belt of Europe, right? They're the Kansas.
Economy is bigger than
it is. And Texas. Yeah. No, fuck them. Triple fuck them. Fuck them. And I've been singing that song for a long time. So I'm not recently on board. Yeah, no, because the Soviets, they're just that way. They're just that way.
If I was able to give the dual bird, I would.
Yeah, not into it. But I don't blame him for trying to go for that piece of real estate. It's a dick move, right? But I get why he wants that piece of real estate. And if you think he's a dick, and any kind of leadership in Russia by saying, well, we're going to hold back on fuel to Europe, etc., as a type of weaponization of resource, weaponization of economy, etc. Wait till he controls food,
right?
For most of Northern Africa, etc. That whole belt of land. Oh yeah, dude, and all those ports and all that kind of stuff. It's I'm really, because I think they kind of whittled their way into being a big trading partner with Turkey, etc. Because there's no way Turkey is going to allow them to snake all that real estate. There's no way, because they could totally blockade Turkey.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Who's a NATO country.
Right.
Yeah, no, but they're really good at that sliding into your DMs, right? And they kind of get you
sending you a bunch of dick pics.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Well, they get you hooked, man. They get you hooked, and I don't know. They are the bad guys.
All right, here's with your.
Who does number 2 work for? Yeah, jeez. Myers. Yeah, geez. Well, yeah, we just. I feel like I talked about this last time, but we're getting ready to go back to the moon. That's neat. So that's a cool story to me. That's an
I'm looking forward
story.
to seeing high definition images of the moon.
Yeah, see what kind of
and actually, and not have it. See, do you guys know how they did it last time in the '60s? They had a TV station in Australia received the signal, and because they had no way to send the signal to us, they put a camera in front of a monitor. That's why it looked like shit when we got it.
That's just what they want you to believe, Todd.
Yeah, and then Kubrick, what he did was.
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing I saw. It was actually on an episode of Ancient Aliens. They talked about that.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely all the space exploration we can do.
I think it's great. Yeah. And it shows that we're getting better because, I mean, it's tragic as it is.
I want to see somebody trying to turn over the engine on the old space buggies.
Just starts right.
Didn't somebody bid and buy? Was it one of the space buggies up there? Or was it some other junk that we left behind?
How are they going to get it back?
Well, that's the point, right? So somebody bid, there was an auction for it, and I think it was like $36,000 or $46,000 or something. And they were able to buy the stuff that's sitting up there. It's like, that's my shit.
The MTV flag.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's like it's them buying that stuff on the moon is like us buying NFTs. We're never gonna physically touch it. We can see. There's a photo of my thing that I bought. See, isn't that cool?
Right.
But that's it.
Right.
Sure.
Well, on there
money.
Unless
Don't touch my stuff.
Unless Musk has a way of like scooping up those things, is he gonna land like a trooper transport type vehicle?
Yeah. Is there a SpaceX moon thing coming up?
I don't know.
What I heard,
it's really expensive.
This was a few years back. This is one of the guys that does panels at King Con. He's from NASA. He comes up, and the first time he came up, he talked about us going back to the moon, and where was it going with this? Oh, fuck. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm so sorry. AD brain is struck again. What we were talking about going to the moon, and
is there a SpaceX?
Right. They're going to be doing like a new space station that is going to be kind of where they're going to build the ships that are going to be taking us to Mars and stuff. So there's going to be like they had like in Star Trek where they had the dry dock
At the Langstrom Point or whatever that is. There's that.
Like a dry dock space station for building all the equipment we're going to be sending off to Mars, but they're also going to be sending some of that stuff to the moon. Be between us and the moon, this space station. I'm hearing that knocking again.
It must be the boiler. I bet it is. Just the expansion of the pipes in the boiler. Because the boiler is on. Or is it a Scooby-Doo ghost? It's a Scooby-Doo ghost.
Ruh-roh!
I would have got away with it if it weren't be meddling middle-aged
You know
men.
what, Mike? You kind of look like one of the bad guys from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. That is the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Pull the mask off.
Face.
Pull the mask off. He's cleanly shaven. He's got a shirt and tie underneath his flannel.
Mr. Belvin?
He's got a crew cut and everything. Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, Phyllis Diller was on Scooby-Doo. You know you're a badass when you're on Scooby-Doo.
The newest Scooby-Doo cartoon series, they actually had a bunch of more recent celebrities. The one that I absolutely loved was the one with Weird Al. That was so
nice.
Yeah.
When did this go?
The last 2 years.
Oh.
So it's on HBO Max, I think. Yeah.
I met Matthew Lillard once.
Did you?
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy to talk to.
He seemed a great guy, yeah, because he had directed Fat Kid Rules the World. So I saw that.
Let me get off topic here, but is that one of your favorite celebrity encounters?
Oh, geez.
I
guess so. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
What about you?
Celebrity encounters, favorite, gosh. I think,
or just interesting.
Talking to Phil Lamar was really cool.
Yeah.
And he's the guy in the backseat of the car with Travolta and
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Huh.
So the guy in the backseat of the car who gets his head blown off, that's Phil Lamar.
Huh.
They had to clean the brain.
Yeah. He's also a huge voice actor. He does every fucking thing. He's the voice of the Jamaican dude on Futurama. He's Samurai Jack. He's John.
He plays Samurai Jack.
Yeah, Samurai Jack. He's also Green Lantern John Stewart from the Justice League Unlimited. But a bunch of things. And I talked to him for a good 10, 20 minutes. And it probably closer to 5 to 10. But I was asking him about, doing voiceover and that kind of stuff. And he's like, just get in front of a mic. And, part of the reason we started podcasting is I wanted to do voiceover. I wanted to do cartoons. I wanted to sit next to him in a recording project or whatever, just hanging out with those guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on. Mine would have to be probably in high school. I worked at a restaurant on Capitol Hill called the Surrogate Hostess. It was kind of a communal sitting space, right? You would go through like a cafeteria and get your eggs and your scones and whatever you wanted. You'd come and sit at these big tables, and you would sort of be forced to be around everybody else and meet your neighbors and that kind of stuff. Well, Tom Skerritt. You know who Tom Skerritt?
No. He was in this very building like a month ago.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really? What was he doing here?
No, whole nother subject. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tom and his wife live in Seattle.
Yeah.
And they came into the Surrogate Hostess, and in the weekends, man, we were packed, right? I was busboy, but the kitchen would make us take, the baked eggs and stuff out to the tables because they were too busy to run it. And so ran out Tom Skerritt's baked eggs or whatever it was, and was bussing a table close by after I served it to him, and he cut into it with his fork and saw that it wasn't the right flavor inside.
Sure.
Right. Wrong cheese, something. He said, this isn't mine, somebody else's. So I grabbed it up, realized that it was supposed to go to number 6 instead of number 9 or something like that. So I ran it out to the other table and put it down in front of the guy. Now, we're so friggin' busy that if I have to refire something, tell the cooks to refire something, it's going to be an hour.
And they're going to yell at you.
They're going to be yelling.
Yeah.
So I put this down in front of the guy, and he kind of does this look because it's like cut into. It's not eaten off of, but it's cut into. And I just looked at the guy and said, don't worry about it. It's Tom Skerritt that cut into. Walked away. Came back a few minutes later, the guy was eating it in front of the house.
He's like, oh my God, Tom's going to cut into my food. I have to eat this.
I can't eat this. I got to save it forever.
What was that show he was in?
Picket fences.
Picket Fences. That's what it was.
Yeah, amongst other stuff. Yeah.
And then years later, probably about 5 years ago, I was taking my daughter to Seattle Children's Museum, and he was there. He and his wife have adopted a gal. I think probably was about 10 years old about that time. And I ran into him there, and I kind of was like, remember I served you eggs? But I said, you know what?
I served
yeah,
peas.
Chuck, I remember you.
Probably not going to remember. So I didn't bug him. I just kind of admired him.
Just waved at him.
Yeah.
I think probably the most awkward meeting of a celebrity that I ever had was the time I was working at Lincoln Square Cinemas in Bellevue, and Bill and Linda came in to see Iron Man.
No.
And he was walking across the lobby, and I said, "Can I shake your hand?" And he shook it and kept walking.
Huh. Sure.
How much security did they have with them?
Nobody.
Doesn't that surprise you?
That's surprising.
Well, I think he owned that building.
Microsoft
Yeah, but still, close enough.
That was
Close enough. There's no way
2007,
looking to kidnap that guy. I mean,
You would think that there's the kidnapping.
it's a thing, man. Oh.
and that may have been before like any kind of. I think that was after. I think didn't he get like a pie in the face at one point from somebody?
From the Merry Pranksters or something. Yeah, I think so.
That was after that though. But you'd think he'd have.
He was probably there.
They were probably
Maybe.
hanging out with
I don't know.
Linda. I think he was running to the bathroom when he rocked across the lobby.
And you made him shake your hand.
Yeah. Which
Before-
just leads us back to the earlier question.
Yeah. Watch. Is he
Yeah.
wanted the 20%?
He after touching my hands, he probably definitely did wash his hands. So, but yeah.
All right. Sorry, that was
Number 2, we're going
crazy.
Now we're back to
Yeah.
number 2 on the
Where
top
am I?
5.
1 to 1, right?
Are we on 1?
Numeral uno, yeah.
So
Okay.
my number 1 is this year. I not only married off one of my children, but I gained a daughter. So I've got a new daughter-in-law who just adore. Awesome young lady, and I couldn't be more pleased to welcome her into the family. And the other thing, so in my family, my dad was the only one out of his 3 brothers and sister, so his 4 other siblings, to have a boy. So my brother and I are the last wrestlers in that clan. So moving on to having kids, my kids are the last wrestlers of our sort of clan.
Your group, yeah.
My uncles all had girls. My aunt had boys, but of course their father's last name. So it's kind of fun to actually welcome in another one of my namesakes.
Nice.
It's kind of cool. So I'm very pleased. That's my number 1. We got
Are you
to go to
like
Hawaii.
knitting little socks?
Knitting little socks, waiting for the little.
Yeah, the only offspring after me, were my sister had a daughter and my little brother had a daughter. So there's no.
So there's no other sellers.
Nobody carrying on the
no
Southern
more
name.
cousin Todds.
Nope.
Coming. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's whatever. My sister had a couple of boys, but they.
That's a big deal, man.
And stuff. But for me, it's kind of like it's kind of a cool thing. Carry on that tradition. So.
Yeah.
That's why we have names. Surnames anyway, right?
Yeah. So, Mike, what's your number 2 or number 1?
Number one.
Number 1.
Geez, I don't know. I've been trying to get out and experience art. It's nice and different.
What kind of art?
Geez, anything from music to, going to rock over. The one gallery that I tend to go to. Yeah, stuff like that. Just trying to, but there's not really a story to inspire me necessarily. But I don't know. Impacting story. Yeah, my kid got his own apartment, which is nice. So and he's doing well.
So he's working on his first book.
He's working on like a series of novels. Bonkers, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'd say that's a pretty big story because it's a lot less money.
Right.
So that's
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Todd, what's your
My number one, most affected me in 2022. I had two family members pass this year. My cousin Laura, who's the older sister of my cousin Mary Ann, and then 2 or 3 months later, my dad. So the passing of Laura definitely hit me hard because she was like her and Mary Ann were legit like my first best friends. I hung out with them all the time when we were kids. Every time we'd go to Grandma's house, my cousins were there, so we'd play in the backyard, go to movies, all that kind of stuff. They're the ones that took me to my first sci-fi convention. So, I learned about Star Trek and Monty Python through Laura. And so, yeah. It's,
I don't know, man. I can see the emotion coming out. And that's a good thing.
my dad, it's one less toxic person in my life. So that one's rough. There's some mixed feelings with my dad.
It doesn't mean it hurts any less. But
It I don't have as frequent the emotional things with thinking about my dad as much as I do with Laura. So I mean, if I think about Laura for too long, I'll get.
You're a good man, Todd.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely the number one for impact on me this year.
come on, you.
Sorry to bring it down.
No.
That's
I mean,
real.
it's,
Keep it
you know,
real.
it's a big part of life.
I you know what?
Well.
No sad trauma.
I need a random fart sound for the soundboard.
Well, yes, we do.
Well, we've been talking probably a long time. I don't know where we're at.
Almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Oh man.
Maybe we should sort of end it where we like to end on a positive note. You guys good with sort of ending?
Yeah. Yeah. A good positive message.
Yeah. So I came across an article. I don't remember where I saw it, but I had to look it up again. I think it was finally on King TV or something. And I thought this was a very cool organization. The organization is called, I have to look it up again to make sure I get it right. It's called the Loose Ends Project.
Huh.
And what these folks do is started by a couple of ladies that are big into knitting and sewing and quilting and that kind of stuff. So what you can do is if you have a person in your life that has passed away, but were in the middle of creating a project that was knitting or sewing or whatever,
They'll finish it.
you can send it to them and they'll finish it for you. And it doesn't have to be somebody that's passed away. Maybe it's somebody that just, arthritis has hit them, or they're suffering from other malady.
They can't create
They
anymore.
can't finish this project, but it means so much, right?
That is really cool.
And so they're called Loose Ends. It's the Loose Ends Project. It's Loose Ends, plural, project.org. And I just felt like,
That's
all
awesome.
the things that you could sort of do. I mean, you can give money. You can, give advice. You can start a homeless shelter. You could do all these things, but there's that one piece that grandma was working on, mom was working on, and dad was trying to create for you. You can send it into these folks, and they'll actually finish it. And
That's
it just
really
becomes
cool.
a cherished heirloom, right?
That's
The memory
awesome.
of that person that can't complete it. So.
I think the coolest. This is really cool, but that reminds me of something else that I once heard someone say they did. This is where they, after a family member had passed away, they took some of that person's favorite T-shirts or whatever, and then turned it into a quilt.
Yes, I've heard of that being done before.
And I was like, that's really neat. I wish I would have known that back before we got rid of all my mom's stuff. I would have had a quilt made of my mom's shirts.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was a cool, positive.
Very
thing
cool,
that these
yeah.
folks are doing. Do you guys have anything positive to throw into the mix?
Make good choices.
Good choices.
Good choices.
Good choices. That's what I tell my kids.
It's if it does, just think before you react or think before you act. Is it worth doing? Is it worth pushing the post button before you after you spend 2 hours writing out that rant?
Type erase. Type erase.
I have done that so many times in the last year where I wrote out a huge post and I'm like, fuck, I can't post this. I'm gonna be the dick if I post this. I'm gonna turn into one of those, am I the asshole? Have you seen any of those?
It'll be on the Reddit. Yeah.
There's a podcast that reads those on their podcast, and they post videos of the individual ones on their TikTok. And I saw one today, or I watched one today where this woman is like, "Am I the asshole because I don't want to change our holiday traditions because of my daughter-in-law because she's not willing to go for a 10-mile hike? Never mind the fact that she's got cerebral palsy and has trouble walking anyways. So this girl asked her mother-in-law if it was okay that they didn't do the 10-mile hike, they did something else equally as festive.
Yeah.
And the mother-in-law was like, no, we're going to go for the hike. If you want to come, you can. If you don't, stay home. We're not letting you stay at my house, kind of thing. I'm like, and she's like, am I the asshole? And the guy reading this is, absolutely, you are an asshole. So it was really funny.
Man,
Yeah. Good stuff.
People are
bonkers.
People are bonkers.
yeah, to say the least.
Absolutely bonkers.
So that's why I say make good choices. Don't be an asshole. If you don't need to post a thing just because you're angry, don't.
What you put out in the universe comes back to you, right?
Manifest. It is a thing. I've seen it happen. So. Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
This is probably going to be the next 2 episodes because it's 2 hours.
All right. Well, Christmas Eve is coming. Don't forget to put Twinkies and shoes and cigarettes up in the bed for the John McClane.
Yes.
Other than that, I got nothing, guys.
All right. Well done, gentlemen.
Well done.
All right.
Feels good.
David.
Thank you, brothers.
All right.
Jeez.
Oh. Bye. ears are getting red.
Good stuff.
And sweaty.
I have sweaty ears. Glow's pretty natural.
That's pretty good, guys.